Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a roundup of all of the Armani blush formulas that I own and that are available for sale right now. I guess that's a caveat as well. The newest formula from Armani are their Luminous Silk Cheek Tints, which are liquid blushes. I have 3 shades. The next most recent release from Armani, these came out last spring, are their powder blushes. I think these are also part of the Luminous Silk. Yeah, Luminous Silk Glow Blush is what these are called. I have 4 shades of those. And then the last formula, and I believe these are being discontinued, but they are still available on the Armani website. Some of the colors are 4 shades available currently. I have 5 shades of the Neo Nude Melting Color Balm. These, I think the Neo Nude line is being discontinued, and so I think that's why these are going to, because there was like a skin tint that I also believe is being discontinued. I will go through all of those. I'm going to start from the most recent release and then go into the melting balms. These, I think I'm going to compare the most to the new MAC Glow Plays, which is kind of why I thought these would be interesting, because you might already own these or something like them. Now, my skin is prepped. I have concealer really just in the center of my face. I don't have any concealer on my cheeks because if I'm gonna do blush swatches, it makes it easier if I don't have to reapply foundation. This is a lot of blush, so if at some point I feel like my cheeks are drying out, I may reapply like a moisturizer or something to make that a little bit better. We'll see what we need to do. You know what else I'm going to show you? I don't think that this is as interesting, but I have an Armani Fluid Sheer as well. And this is just an interesting formula, so we'll talk about that. Let's get into swatches. So I have the shade 50.5, which is the lightest of the shades that I own. That is 50.5. Then I have the shade 31. That's 31 swatched. And the last shade I have is 41. That is 41. So those are the 3 shades of the liquid that I have. Let's get these on the cheeks. Let's go in with 50.5 first. This one is pretty sheer. I'm just gonna dot this directly onto my cheek and blend out. I'm trying to not bring my blush up that high just for the swatch videos, but that's one layer. We'll do another layer. And you can see you can get decent buildup, and they do sheer out quite a bit. This is not like my normal color because it's a little pinker than I go, but I do like it. 31 on this cheek. And I have a towel that I'm wiping my brush off in between. Just, oh my gosh, and you can probably hear construction noises. Ah! Okay. So that's one layer of 31. So you can see over here at the edges that I can sheer out. I'm just showing you the built up color. And I'm not worrying about blending it out as much because these are just color swatches for the most part. But you can see it will sheer out towards the edges so that you get a nice blend. 2 layers is actually fairly vibrant. You can see my skin through it though, so it does have that translucence. All right, the last shade is shade 41. This one definitely has more opacity to it. So I'm just gonna do one little dot and blend this out so you can see. So there's a lot more pigment in this deeper shade. you can see that it blends out really nicely, but there's definitely like a lot more vibrancy there. The other option for a shade like this is to put some on the back of your hand. I put a fresh patch because this is drying, and then tap your brush into that and then go in. And that can be a gentler way of applying something that has a lot of intensity like this, if the intensity is something that you're trying to work on. If the intensity is what you need, then obviously. So you can see these blend really nice. They can be sheared out. There is definitely like a spectrum of vibrancy to these, which is kind of nice. That first one was very light and easy on my skin tone. And the second one packs more punch. And then this third one is arguably, you know, not necessarily for skin of my depth. I can make it work, and I do and I will. I like a lot of blush. Anyway, they're just easy to wear. They have a sheerness and buildability to them that I really enjoy. I think the biggest comparison that people will likely draw is going to be the Rare Beauty liquid blushes, which are still far more pigmented. And I'm gonna show you real quick. So shade 41. So this is that 41 shade, just that little dot. Kind of blend it out. I have the Rare Beauty Mini in the shade Grateful. I really like that these are now being sold as minis. Not all the shades, but a lot more shades are sold as minis, which is great because it's hard to use anything up for me, I guess. So you can see this is still able to be sheared out, right? The Rare Beauty one. This is the glowy formula. You can see it's gonna stay a little bit glowier than the Armani. The Luminous Silk line, you would think with that name it means glow, but it kind of means like subtle glow. It just means that your skin isn't gonna be flat. It doesn't mean that your skin is gonna be glowy, especially in the spectrum of glow. Armani Luminous Silk is actually pretty tame. Another liquid blush I wanna show are the NARS liquid blushes. These, you have to shake them very well, especially because mine have been sitting for a while. These were so ahead of their time, which annoys me because I think they might end up being discontinued. Honestly, that's rude as hell because I think they're great. They have a pump and they are a true liquid. This is Torrid from the NARS liquid blush line. And I think these kind of have less of this intense pigmentation in the sense that they just kind of like immediately share out a little bit better. I really like this formula. If you think you might like it, grab them now. I think they're still only available on the NARS website. Ulta might have like a shade. Other liquid blushes that I have that just don't compare in my opinion, the M Cosmetics liquid blushes, which are much more like gel consistency, will stay glowy tacky. Surratt liquid blushes, way more sheer. Let's do powder blushes next. I'm very excited about this. I love a powder blush. I love a cream and liquid blush too, let's be real. But there's just something, powder blushes are classic, I love them. I wish Armani would name instead of just number their colors. It would make it easier for me to remember them. There are two finishes in the Armani powder blushes. There's a shimmer finish and a matte finish. I have one shimmer finish, the rest are matte. This is the shade 10. I want shade 11, but it's very similar. So this is a very light, kind of pink leaning beige. This one, when I bought it, I thought it was gonna be a stupid thing to buy. I think it actually looks good on my skin tone. That was a pleasant surprise. This is the shade 51. They're very soft to the touch, but not necessarily powdery. Silky might be the way I would describe them, but silk implies to me a little bit more slip, and these are just a little bit creamier than that. So 51, this is the shade 30. The last one I have is shade 50, and this is the one that has shimmer. I hope. So you can see quite a difference in that finish. Let's try them on. This is a Sonia G cheek brush, and this is the shade 10. So first layer, super subtle on me. Right? You can really barely see it. It's a very subtle difference. It's just that kind of like light flush of color on me that I would probably do with like a very intense eye lip combo so that the cheek kind of fades into the background. But it does end up working on me, even though it's kind of showing up patchy. That has to do with my skin. That's a blush swatch crime, not an Armani blush crime. Let's see if I can. My cheeks don't even feel tacky. That's why I thought it was gonna be fine. All right, so I'm just laying down some powder on my cheek so that hopefully this next one won't do that, because I want you to see that these perform well, not that they do this thing, because they don't do that. That's truly because I took off my makeup and I'm trying to put makeup back on. Okay, let's try the shade 51. I think that's giving you a better idea. Because it's not doing any of that weird patchiness. I was trying to use this more dense brush. Yeah, that is what I wanted. Okay. So you can see it builds well, but these blushes go on really gently. I would say they lean matte. Okay, change of plans. I actually am just gonna apply makeup on my face because I think it's going to actually help the products perform better. I really want you to get to see how they actually work and not have to feel like I'm trying to convince you that they normally work. I'm just gonna put some concealer down, honestly, because it's here. And once again, the caveat that oh, that was way too much. My blush swatch videos are not about application method. Sometimes I will explain application method, but if you're looking at this being like, this girl doesn't know how to apply blush or doesn't know how to do her makeup, not the best example. We're doing this for color. And a little bit of formula. That definitely makes my cheeks look better. And then I'm just gonna powder. This is my Pat McGrath loose powder. I don't recommend it. I'm trying to use it up. Okay, let's try again. So now for the shade 30. Yeah, look at how much better that did. My apologies for trying to cut corners. It's because these swatch videos can be pretty time and labor intensive. I have to redo my makeup every time. See, way better. And you can really see they just really blend out nice. I don't know. Last shade is the Shimmer Finish shade 50. I actually think this is the only shade that has shimmer of the range, which is a bummer because it actually ends up translating pretty nicely on the skin, I think. And you can really see, I think here, how matte the Luminous Silk powder blushes. The thing is, they're matte, but because they have that very translucent thing going on, it does look like a very like natural flush of color. The Shimmer Finish doesn't do that quite as much, but on the matte ones, it really comes through. So it looks like a glow, but it is not because it is shimmery or shiny. It's just that, it's just a color effect. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope it does. All right, this time I'm not powdering my face because these are cream blushes, so they shouldn't behave ridiculously. let's do swatches of the Melting Balm, whatever. So first up is shade 51, and you can see there is some press, right? But it's not like the MAC Putty blushes where you can just like press. But there is a little bit of that puttiness to it. So again, this is the shade 51. Next is the shade 45. Next is the shade 30. I understand those look very similar, and I did need both. Thank you for asking. Next is 52. And last is the shade 20. Weird, right? I know. Here's where I need to get like another blush brush that I can recommend for you, because this is kind of one of my go-tos for cream blushes, and it's discontinued. It's a Smashbox brush. I think the one that's most similar to it that's being sold currently is the e.l.f. Putty Primer brush. Not the Putty Blush brush, the Putty Primer brush. It's $7, but I don't own it yet. But I think I need to. First shade I'm gonna go in with is 51. Okay. So again, 51. See, it's a pretty color. It's light, buildable. I think it shares a lot in common with the MAC Glow Play blushes, in that it also kind of takes on the finish of whatever is underneath it, rather than really setting its own finish, I suppose. On the other cheek, we're doing 52. Okay, really light first application. Second layer. And then third layer, which is where you really start to see the color. So that's those two shades. But again, I think this is really more about formula comparison. If you own these, do you need the Glow Plays? Maybe. If you're sad, these are gone, should you get the Glow Plays? That I think is more likely to be true, because I think they, like I said, they do have something similar. Next two shades. You know what? New plan. I'm gonna do a side-by-side of Pinch of Marrakesh and 30, so that we can see how the formulas translate next to each other. These are the two colors swatched together. Let's do it. This I think will also just a revisit to the Glow Plays, because like I said, these Armani creams you can't really get anymore. 4 shades on the website, and you can find them around sometimes, but they're just getting harder to find. So just showing them kind of for history's sake, and to talk about them in case this is something that you really loved and you really miss. So this is the shade 30 from Armani. And now we're gonna do Pinch of Marrakesh from MAC. Right, so you're seeing the finish of the foundation through the blush. Same here. These are similar colors. They also build at a similar interval. If you really liked the Armani cream blushes and you're looking for a replacement, try the Glow Plays. I don't think you'll be super disappointed. This is Marrakesh, so I'll take this off real quick. Now we'll compare the other Armani shade kind of in that category, which is this shade 45. This one's just a little bit more vibrant in color than this one. This one has a little bit more brown in the orange, and this one has a little bit more brightness. So again, 45-30 of the Armani. The other thing real quick, so this is the last shade here on my arm is Armani 20, which I'm pretty sure is no longer available. And so let's swatch True Harmony from MAC. Ooh, this is still a lot more gray, I would say. I was just wondering if those were similar. All right, folks. Last one, let's go. So I'm gonna show you the shade 20, and I'm gonna show it to you kind of like a blush, even though it's a weird color. Almost looks like it could be kind of like a purple beige blush, but then it's also gray enough to be a contour. Sort of. But it's funny, when I put on my blush, it looks gray, not the right color for blush. But when I start to pull it back here as a contour, it almost starts to look blushier in color. It's a really weird shade. I bought it because it's a weird shade, and curiosity will always propel me forward. Right? Weird. I'm not going to try to build that up more. I don't think it's worth it. Now I'm going to show you the fluid sheer. The fluid sheer is something that I want to love from Armani, and I don't know how to use it. So why not show it to you, right? It's a liquid, like the liquidiest liquid, and it's glowy. It's kind of a gel. I don't know if you can really see that. And then I'm going to put it on my face right now, and we're going to see what happens. I haven't used this in a long time. It's almost a first impressions. That's okay. Bye. It just, I don't, what? It just kind of goes away. I don't think it removed that foundation, but it kind of acts like it's going to. Right? Where did it go? What am I supposed to do with that? Truly. And it's all gone. Like, I used that big drop up. If you know how to use the fluid shears and would like to impart some wisdom, please feel free. And I think these have been reformulated since this one, but I've seen other people use the new ones and they do the same thing. So I think they were probably like minorly reformulated. Like, you can almost see it there, right? Almost. But that's an awful lot of product to have to use to get it to look that. What's the point? What? Like, it can't be like you have to use 1/4 of a teaspoon on a cheek to get the faintest hint of impact. There's gotta be a purpose to them I'm missing, an application method I'm missing. That's what, if you know, let me know, because I'd love to understand this product better. And that's kind of like, again, curiosity is the thing that propels me forward. I pride myself in being able to figure out how to use a product. That's like one of the things, like, oh, there's always a way to get something to work. That's why there's so few things on my, like, absolutely not list. There are things on the, like, not my preference list, but an absolutely not list is a pretty short list for me, because I'm usually like, well, this is how I get this to work. And it also doesn't look good on the skin. That's the other thing. It's not like you use that much and you're like, at least it looks great. No, you use that much and it kind of looks terrible. What's the answer? What's the point? I don't know. I certainly don't have anything to compare that to in my collection. As always, I hope this was useful in helping you make a decision about what blush formulas you might be interested in trying, about how to replace maybe some discontinued favorites, etc., etc. Armani's doing a lot in the blush world, so there are a lot of options there. Let me know what you've tried, what you like, what you don't like. Let me know if you know how to use fluid sheer. That'd be really cool to know. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.